Assalamu alaikum viewers, I'm Zubia Irfan. Welcome to another show of CxO Talk. As you know, it's a knowledge sharing platform for all the C-level across the Pakistan and around the globe. Every time we invite some interesting personalities in our show. Today we are honored to have Mr. Syed Shariq Muhammad with us. Mr. Syed Shariq Muhammad is a dynamic technology executive with over 20 years of experience in sales, operations, and enterprise solutions across multiple industries, especially banking. Known for driving business transformation and building strategic partnerships, he has held leadership roles such as COO, Director Sales and Operations, and Global Marketing Head, working with clients across Middle East, Europe, and Africa. So let's meet and greet Mr. Syed Shariq Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum salam, Zubia. How are you? Thank you very much for
I'm good.
inviting
How
me.
are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thank you very much, Zubia, for inviting me for this session, for this interactive session, and
Great.
for Global
Great.
for giving me the opportunity to have this discussions and introducing my
Great,
profile.
and welcome to the show. Can you share your career journey and how you become a technology leader?
Uh, my career start as a computer engineer. I had done my BS computer engineering from Shastra University, and initially I started my career as a QA engineer from the leading MNC in Calsoft. It's around 2005 area. And in that area, I started with different, working with an MNC company of a global exposure. And I was one of the consultant who work with, in process auditing with the international firms. And I have been appointed for, same level appraisals for Calsoft organization. And from there, I just jumped into the technology consulting and just joined LMKR as a consultant. And that was, one of the area to focus on technology side. Starting from my career on process side and moving towards technology consultant, it's a journey moving towards area. And the leadership positions I've just joined around 4 or 5 years back. Then I joined Royal Server. That was one of the area where I've been giving the two leadership positions. I have been serving there as a brand leader for cloud and smart infrastructure, and I'm a global marketing head
Okay.
for their organizations, right? And that landscape gives me a solid foundations to move my journey towards the leadership role. And during that journey I have been a very dynamic exposure and centric exposures, to work with different client environments, and it's a globally I've been involved with different regions, and that and then last 10 years I've been working on my leadership positions on that organization, right? And currently you mention it out, I have been particularly working with banking and financial services majority. I've been involved in that. And because I have been passionate in terms of uh, for the innovative solutions and all that to bring the operational experience in any institution. So that was the journey I have been started on the last 24 years back. Currently, I have been serving as a VP Business Growth in Arcana Info and doing the same to to grow the organizations. Right, that was my portfolio of 24 experience.
Excellent, excellent. You have worked across multiple regions. How has your international exposure shaped your approach to business strategy?
So we are working with international regions. We have a lots of across multiple regions. You need to, that wasn't properly. It's a secondary shape my strategic approach, right? You work with different culture people. You have different adaptability of local different areas. You want to work it out, and that area I've been learn a lot. Working in a rural suburban, working in international regions, there are lots of business dynamics that I've learned in that area, right? The different dynamics of every region have different dynamics, right? It's a culture nuisance, it's a something landscape, it's all about the adaptability to grow the business. And that skills which I have been delivering from that organizations make me work a lot with different regions and to grow the business for Pakistan as well, because with the best practices get the local insights. I had been work with the local insights of the in different regions, right? For example, I'd work in Australia, USA,
Mhm.
so the different regions. I do have experience to give international trainings to different regions as well. So these multi-talent exposures give me lots of exposure in how to work with adaptability, learning skill set and all that, to make my strategic decision more compatible with my profile.
Right, right. What are the key qualities that make a technology leader successful in today's rapidly evolving business landscape?
Basically, in today's, if you ask me, that today's fast-paced technology and the way technology is moving it out nowadays, the leader should be very, visionary specific. He is a visionary thinker, right? He should be a visionary thinking. He have that much quality how to, have goals and priorities of that, and he should be customer centric approach, because it's in a technology you need to be a very customer centric approach when you are working as a leader, right? You should have an adaptability and agility as well, because these are and the other factor which is required in leader is the resilience, right? And that resilience make you that make you a lot compatible with the kind and different opportunities, right? So this is very necessary for me to make a that leadership qualities I'm carrying it out from long from the time.
Very right, very right. So, you have held C-level positions like COO and director sales. How do you balance the operational demand with strategic growth?
Basically, I have been working with the leadership positions for the last 10 years, and and on a very executive positions. It's balancing in an order like director sales and leading in operations. It's all about optimizing efficiency and growth of any organizations, right? And that was I had been in the past. I'm doing that, and doing the very a very critical role. Both all the roles are very critical for any organizations, and I have been leading because of that exposure which I had during my being a global leader on Royal Seven US region. So doing that, I have been working with execution style excellence. I do a very strategic approach and priorities to maintain that positions, and that make me grow further for that for any organizations I'll be working with.
Right, right. So, how do you lead teams through the ups and downs of growth cycles without losing momentum?
Basically, leading team is a very challenging role. If you ask me nowadays, there is a is a resource crunch nowadays. People are moving here and there. Managing a team and building a team is nowadays a very daunting task. It's very challenging. But when you have a
Yes.
leadership qualities, you wanted to build a culture. You wanted to have a
Hmm.
proper brainstorming with your team. There should be a motivational factors available with the team. You should be stand with the team, because there is a difference between a leader and manager. Leader stands with their team, and managers always asks and always orders it out. So I always wanted to be front leader, and I always ask my team to work in this direction which is necessary for anyone to grow it out. So this is one of the areas what I am trying to consult and mentor my team members. And now they are very much collaboratively they work with me, and they are now it's because in the journey of a success, it's a very crucial role to have a proper team, because in any organizations when you grow it out, it's an employee, right? It's not about the manager or leader, and leaders carries the team, right? It's a footprints which we need to establish it out. So there are lots of factors, and I always identify it out. Different criteria in my leadership style. Always learn it out. I always ensure the momentum which I have built in any organizations. So they should be very passionate of doing what they are doing it out with their visionary and priorities. So there are lots of things we need to work with my team building, and there are lots of cycles going around: the learning, adopting criteria, the behavioral challenges, and we need to work with the team members. They do have a feeling that they are working with the leader, right? They wanted to grow themselves, not it's a 9 to 5 job, right? People come in organizations to work as a job, but I always preach it's if you're passionate about how you work, you will grow. Everyone will grow.
Very true, very true. So, Mr. Sharik, what's your process for identifying and developing leadership talent within your teams?
I think one of the best process I have been doing it out to first I listen a lot, right? People listening is one of the critical skill
Right,
sets,
very
right?
right.
Because you need to evaluate the team, their strength, their centric approach. I identify that, and then I identified the behavioral approach, and I wanted to know what is once identified, and then how to develop their qualities, right? So there are lots of approach in
Hmm.
authentic leadership, right? There should be different areas we need to work on. For example, they need to have a very decision making. They should have a very strong decision making in themselves, right? To building a team, and that is how I identified a team members, how they make decisions, how they create value in organizations, and what type of skills they are learning it out, right? It's not about working on a paper and a role. It's something which we need to identify, and we need to define and in the different assignments, right? I always do presentation skills to all my team members. It's not about technical learning, because you need to present yourself to the international market as well. When you can't express yourself, you cannot win anything, right? It's not about the journey which they wanted to carry it out. So there are lots of areas where building up a proper team. Like I do a very consult sessions internally in organization as well, and they do have a trust factor. They wanted to give them trust and confidence when we are working together, and they should be very authentic when you're dealing with anyone, right? And they should be authentic with themselves, because if we are sincere with ourselves, then we can become a leader, right? If we're not sincere with ourselves and we don't want it to grow in our or the right directions, so there are lots of different qualities which I'm trying to induce it out of my team members.
Great, great. So, Mr. Sharik, how do you see emerging technologies like AI and cloud solutions transforming enterprise operations in next 3 to 5 years?
Zubi, that was very interesting question for me, because as an Arcana, as a VP Business Growth, we have been doing a lot, and from now onwards, I perceive that the people who are working in these domains will, live life, right? Other than
Hmm.
you see example of Nokia, right? They didn't transform themselves, right?
Okay.
That's why they are out of the mobile, dynamics, and the Samsung lead it out there to the transformation, right? They change themselves. Nowadays, as in company, we wanted to have the strategy. As a business strategist, I work on that area. Our current info is very much working with different clienteles. I have been working with different financial institutions, giving them AI, use cases and all that. And in the cloud journey, cloud is everywhere nowadays. In Pakistan, we are facing challenges due to state regulations and all that in the financial service institutions. But internationally, people are moving in the cloud to the dynamic area. And as an enthusiast, technology enthusiast, if you ask me, every company need to make strategy to grow in that area. And
Right.
as a leader in this organizations, I have been making my strategy very clear, defined. We have defined and prioritized our whole strategy, where we have been defining it in coming up years, right? On 2025 and 2026, we have been developed internal part, AI based part. Like we have been working with call center analysis through AI, and there are lots of other areas we have been working with. We have been working with robotic process automation with different finance solutions, including Jazz and Bangle Fala. That was a based journey towards the AI. So, and that was what I perceive, because if you wanted to move your journey, right, you need to have a very clear and crystal plan where the technology evolved. And now, in the coming 3 to 5 years, my opinion, my plan is that every organization
Hmm.
need to invest in something, right? And the background which we created out is through lots of talent available in Pakistan as well. So what I am doing personally, I do have a very internal counseling sessions in weekends with the different universities. I'm industry academic advisors in different universities. So I'm evaluating the course outline as well in the academy as well, so that they do have a proper outline structures for for the graduates who are learning AI. Because
Okay.
if we learn AI and there's no business case available in the market, local market, so it's very challenging for all of us. So I think in a local market, they need to they need to give opportunities for the graduates as well, to give them adaptability and chance to work with the team. My experience in Pakistan, I had worked with different Cs, and I've been part of lots of organizations
Hmm.
as in counseling and all that. My passion is to do mentorship and counseling, in my spare time of it. And when I'm working with different academic, board of studies and all that, so I felt that there's a big gap with industry and academia. People are working, and they do a lots of investment in AI nowadays. People are investing. There are lots of training centers who are working in AI course outline. But the challenge which I perceive is that the local industry, it may be banking, financial,
Hmm.
manufacturing, FMCGs, they need to get the top talent from local universities, and they build the product themselves. Because you see the dynamics of the globally, the dynamics have been changing it out. There are global financial war between international regions, right? So we have the own products, right? If something we need to sustain in the growth, and we need to sustain the growth in the Pakistan region, we need to have our own made in Pakistan products, made in Pakistan, anything which can grow yourself, internal movement out. That was the area what I'm thinking of aggressively now.
Very right, very right. So, Mr. Sharik, with your background in enterprise solutions, what's your approach to helping clients choose the right technology fit?
I think as an enterprise solution strategist, I work with the client with the centric approach, customer centric approach. Always work with the innovative ideas, right? I always position them with the pain they are facing it out. For example, if they have been working in a FSR banking industry, so there are lots of areas they can optimize their operations, right? As like
Hmm.
currently we have been working with, we had been working with different banking to digitize their operations, right? So the areas we need to identify ourselves. And as an enterprise leader, I always work with the vision and priorities. What is going to be required for nowadays in any institutions, right? So this solution positioning and skill sets I had been working because of my exposure, which you discussed initially, with the international exposure, right? Because we are far behind in the adoption, right? For example, I just read the news that China is working on 10 GB and something bandwidth is especially different, and we are still on a 5 or 4G, right? In telecom sector, right? So in AI, the developing countries are working, exponentially growing in a very fast pace, and we are trying to adopt that. So it's something we need to place. It's all about the challenge. It's all about the need, which I emphasize with my customers and people who I've met. So that was what I want to perceive it out.
Right, right. So, Mr. Syed Shariq, I would like to ask, what has been your proudest professional accomplishment so far?
I think the proud moment for me, as in when I started my journey, when I leading the director sales, global marketing sales position for leading US based company I was one of the hits. Like they win the largest 5 international awards, IBM awards, right? And that was the proudest moment in my journey as I started the journey, because that makes them grow exponentially, right? And that was the award which had been received by Pakistani company, right? And globally, when you work with Pakistani company, and you need to fight with international companies like Wipro, Tata, and all that, they do lots of momentum going around, and to get the international awards of IBM, and that was the with the leadership and all the team members who supported me out. That was the proudest moment, and that moment didn't go on. And then in a later journey, I was one of the uh, MENA region award. I have received that MENA region award in the 1 year startup company, and we got it as security division, right? And Alhamdulillah, now as an Arcana, as a VP business for Arcana, it's proudest moment for me that we are growing exponentially, Alhamdulillah, and we are expanding our footprints globally as well, and then locally as well, and we are leading and working with all the major banks, which is necessary for our growth. So that was my proudest moment, because it's journey which I had been trying to fulfill, to capitalize my vision within this organization as well. I've started with more than 3 to 4 people now. Alhamdulillah, we do have 70 plus in 3 years in South region where I've been carrying it out. And across Arcana, we do around 250 different plus over resources, but we are doing our best. And that was a proudest moment. Is like when my team is standing with me, having celebrations with me, the journey we kept together for the success of the current organizations I had, and all the because I always remember one night I had been I have received an email, right, from IBM, and IBM is a global name, and they recognized us.
Right.
They recognized us on the designs and all that, and they write an email to our CEO that that team is very exponentially is going good, and in the global we fight it out. So that was the proudest moment I'm carrying it out.
Wow, that's a huge success, I must say. Mr. Sharik, how's your experience going so far with CxO Global Forum?
I think that experience with CxO Globe is really enriching, right? It's internationally enriching. We met with different leaders. And then that forum is very necessary towards growth of any organization. And that was the idea of CxO makes Pakistan grow together, right? Because it's an umbrella, right? Where all the global and local leaders are, connecting with each other. They are sharing their knowledge. They are, collaborating with each other, and it's a platform where we can, growth mindset people meet it out, and they, work together. And like today, it's like you are, you give us the opportunity to discuss who I am and what we are doing it out, and this type of, experience you that the platform is giving it out for everyone, right? And globally we are connecting with, different diversified cultures, right? We can connect with the Saudi, or we can connect with any region right nowadays. So that was the due to Six Global, and that was the initial need for collaboration. When I in my initial career days, right, I always think of that, who will do this step, because sorry to say, when I work with larger institutions like STC, Mobily, I was an advisor for that, and I see the lobbying of Indian people, right? And I always thought of, who will lead the Pakistani people, who will lead the Pakistani organization, who will connect the Pakistani organizations, and that was my initial career. I was around 6 or 7 years of career of initial stage, but now, Alhamdulillah, Kamal Masroor is doing that very brilliantly. He's doing it out, and the way he, collectively get the idea of connecting people. So I've been attached with Kamal around 6 to 7 years back. He is a very good friend of mine as well. When he's discussing that ideas, and I was very appreciative. That was awesome. And now, Alhamdulillah, CxO is globally is growing exponentially well, right? So it's something, a very good platform, and Alhamdulillah, that was time of a need, I think, to have that internal exchange
Yes.
of a peer-to-peer knowledge from different regions as well.
Mhm.
So I think Arcana is very,
Thank you.
doing it out.
Right. So, Mr. Syed Shariq Muhammad, thank you very much for your time. And it has been a very insightful discussion. And we wish you more and more success in your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Zubia. Thank you for inviting me for this session. I really appreciate that. Looking forward for this growth. Take care. Inshallah, milta hai.
Thank you.
Jazakallah.
Viewers, this is it for today. Inshallah, see you soon with some another amazing personality. Till then, take care. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.